Hello and welcome to another Lanteria HR tutorial. Today we are going to take a look at the recruiting module, and specifically we are going to review the vacancy card and how to create a vacancy. So we're going to just get started by making sure that we are logged in as the HR user. Now for an experienced user this is obvious because I'm on the HR dashboard, which is visible only to the HR user. But if you're not seeing this, you'll want to scroll up to this little person here next to the Find Employee search bar, and you'll want to select that the HR role is selected here. So we've got that. Now we want to head over to our recruiting module in the main navigation bar, and we have two options here. We can cut right to the vacancy card here, or we can go through the vacancy database. Right? So I think I'll go through the vacancy database here. And here we have a list of all of the vacancies that are currently created within the system. As you can see over here on the side, we can manually filter these items based on the status that the current vacancy have, open, approved, inactive, pending approval, and so on and so forth. We're going to click Create Vacancy here to create a new vacancy, and this is the same effect that we would have if we just clicked on the quick link from the navigation bar. This here is the new vacancy form, and this is what you're going to fill out before you create a vacancy. It's going to help you outline most of the details and the parameters that are necessary to get the vacancy posted in the way and fashion that you want it. So we're going to start by giving our vacancy a title. I'm going to call this the sample December vacancy 2016. A code is not necessary, but it might be something that you wish to apply if your company uses them already, or if you have a very large number of vacancies that you have to keep track of. The Lanteria system requires that every vacancy is assigned to a particular job role, and this is especially important when you want to assess certain competencies or when you wish to create a candidate into an employee. Either way, it's necessary, it's a required field, so you need to pick the job role to which the vacancy is applicable. So we're going to choose a salesperson for that. The organizational unit is optional, but it's helpful to get as granular as possible when you're creating your vacancy so that you know just where the new employee is going to fit in the organizational structure. It also helps with later reporting if you wish to generate certain reports based on organizational unit changeovers and things of that nature. So we've got a salesperson. We're going to choose Sales US for this one. We're going to say there's one vacancy available. We're going to choose a start date for our vacancy of being today's date, which is December 28th. 2016. The due date is going to be January 15th, 2017. In our description field, we can put rich text, which means bold, underlined, italics, things like that, or we can just kind of leave it average. But this is the overall description that's going to be visible when new applicants want to view the job itself. So I'm going to copy over some lorem ipsum text over here for what's necessary. We're going to paste that in over here. So now we've got a little bit of formatting there using HTML, and we've got a description that's visible. The requested by, this individual is going to be able to receive notifications based on the vacancy, but it's also useful just for your internal records to know who is the individual that is requesting this particular vacancy. Mandatory documents and optional documents are going to be available to the applicant through the self-service application portal. The mandatory documents will be a required field, and the optional documents will be a not required field. So we're just going to select the resume as a mandatory document, and then maybe a reference letter as an optional document. Down here we've got the company website and the intranet. This is dealing for external applicants, and this is for internal applicants. So the company website is going to post, clicking this is going to post the vacancy to the self-service web portal, which is another part of the Lanteria system. And the intranet is going to allow existing employees in your system to apply to the vacancy through a one-click process, making it very simple for them. Down here we've got the interview rating weight and the assessment rating weight. Now these both apply to particular parts of the vacancy that are optional, but if you choose to set them up during your interview, you can assign an overall interview assessment score and an overall competency assessment score to the interview process, and then it can be weighted based on the data that you enter here. It just gives a more empirical possibility for shortlisting and ranking individuals or applicants for how well they suit the position for the vacancy that you need. So we can choose the locations down here. Since we're selecting the United States, we can add New York to our location. This location is going to be posted on the self-service application portal for external candidates as part of the vacancy overview, so they're going to see where this is actually located. The closing dates and the on-hold dates, we can officially close the vacancy and then put it on hold, or with the start date and everything. This is for the actual date as opposed to the suggested date, which is up here, or rather, excuse me, the due date, which is up here. And then we have the on hold start and the on hold end dates. Then the approval status, we should submit it as pending because this will go through an approval process. And we select the actual individuals who need to approve the vacancy first. So obviously as a manager or someone, we don't want to be recruiting for vacancies that aren't applicable or are no longer active or anything like that. So we choose our approvers here, and they're going to approve the vacancy before it gets posted. We want to set the status as open, and we're going to say save. And now that we've published the vacancy, we can see it here along with all other vacancies in the vacancy database. And that concludes this tutorial. In other tutorials, we'll be following up on the other parts of the recruiting module and fleshing out in more detail vacancies within the Lanteria system. Thanks for watching.